Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aspiring Adult podcast. My name is Alexandra Hayek, and I'm your host. So today I have my college bestie, Jasmine. So Jasmine is doing her master's right now. We met in college in her undergrad. I don't know. What do you want to say more about yourself, Jasmine?
My name is Jasmine. I'm 22 years old. I'm in Aries. Um, Alex is a Libra. We love each other. That's all I got for my introduction. Let the people clap.
Okay, great. Um, so the first question I wanted to ask you is, so you did poli sci, um, and now you're doing your master's in public policy, and I wanted to ask you how, like, when did you know that that's what you wanted to study, um, and like what you wanted to do, or like, and do you still think that that's like relevant to why you're doing it? I don't know if that like makes sense to you.
Um, so to be honest, if we're gonna go through the entire career track of Jasmine Parrish, when I was younger, I was gonna be an actor because I was just so thought I was so good at lying, so I was like acting, and then I thought I was a singer, so I did choir, but I can't sing to save my life. So then that got shut down, and then like a good brown kid, I was like, I'm gonna just be a doctor, but then I passed out when I saw blood, so here we are now, so many years later, and I at first I was in my pre-law era. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer because again, the whole argument, strong kind of eldest daughter type vibe. I was gonna be a lawyer. That's what I was thinking of doing. That's what I was. I was pre-law for 2 years at undergrad, and then I worked at a law firm, and I realized I literally hated my life. I I wanted to like it, and I'm sure maybe in another world out there, I do like it, but at that time I hated it, and I was like, I can't do this to myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm also really interested in government, law and government policy. They overlap a lot. So I started my my government era. It was the end of the law era, and yeah, so I did political science undergrad, really vague. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to see if I decide to go to law school or grad school post grad. And I ended up going to grad school. Still thinking about law school every now and then, which Alex and I were really just talking about this earlier. I might go back. I don't know. Who knows? It depends. But yeah, I'm doing my master's in public policy. And I really do like it. There are definitely moments, especially like growing up or like knowing Alex, where I'm like, oh my gosh, like that seems so fun. Like, like I want to, like, that seems fun, like marketing and, doing like these things, like that sounds fun. And when I go to work, it's a little depressing. It's like, oh, we have no healthcare and like the world's gone to shit, but it's what I'm doing. So,
Do you think? Because I'm just thinking about this, because like one of the things that me and Jasmine have in common is that like we have two parents who were not born here and not from here, and like I mean I wasn't born here. Jasmine was born in the States, but I wasn't. And like, do you think that that plays a role into like? Because I know you want to do. Do you still want to do like immigration stuff?
yeah. Yes, I do.
We have one mic, so we're struggling out here. Okay. So like, do you think that that has played a part in like what you want to do?
100%. When I was in my pre-law era, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be an immigration lawyer. And even now, in my policy arc, I'm like, oh, immigration is definitely one of the policy areas that I'm most interested in. That definitely stems from having two parents that immigrated to this country. I remember as a kid, like having to wait for them to get, their green card, get their visa. When they became citizens, when I was, I think, a senior in high school. Um, I went to vote with my dad for the first time. We were both eligible to vote at the same time. So when I was 21, he became a citizen. So all those experiences definitely like fueled my career choices because I felt like I needed to be a part of something a little bit bigger, to try to enact some change for other families like mine and like Alex's.
I think that's really cool. Like how we grow up, I feel really influences what you're gonna do. I mean, I guess maybe not for some people, but it definitely has for you, Jasmine, and for myself. Um, so because we're talking about our 20s and like figuring shit out, I guess one of my main questions I think about a lot, it's like what inspires you not only in like your professional life but in like your personal life too. I know that's a very broad question, but
I'm gonna be straight up. I think this field is a field that has a lot of burnout. I've been working in like the nonprofit policy realm since 2020, so about 4 years now. Um, and it sucks. Like it, especially. I mean, we live in Texas. Um, the amount of wins we get are slim to none, so it's very easy to burn out and feel like the work you're doing is not worth it. Time after time, it's like policy proposals, elections, meeting with legislators, and all these things just for nothing to be done. And you put a lot on the line. You know, you pour your heart and soul into the work you do, and you're like testifying. You know, like all these great sob stories, and they're like, okay, next, don't care. So burnout's definitely real, and I've definitely had moments where I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's nothing's happening, and I'm burnt out 4 years in. Um, but at the end of the day, it's work that has to be done, and if I don't do it, then who will? And it's kind of like the mentality of like trying to break down the system while working within the system. It's just really complex, and definitely I have days where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I just want to be a girl, and I just wanna, have silly fun times with my friends. But at the end of the day, we're growing up, and I feel like policy is something that affects all of us, and I can get really nerdy with it. But at the end of the day, like I said, it affects everybody, and so I want to try to be a part of it a little bit.
I guess my follow-up question to that would be what's like something that you are excited about or not excited about but that you're working on maybe in one of your two jobs or that you're excited about working on maybe in the future that you want to make better for our government.
Okay, so Alex is gonna roll her eyes when I say this, but I am such a proud Houstonian. H Town till I drown.
I did not roll my eyes. She thinks I'm a Houston hater. Well, okay, we're not gonna get into that. But I don't hate Houston. I just think this is whatever. Go on, Jasmine.
My point,
Okay,
like I
sad.
said, I'm a proud Houstonian. Um, and so that's something I definitely want to do. I've done like local government with Houston, but I want to learn what I can do on a more federal level, to help not just Houston but like the South. I have a love hate relationship with the South as a whole, but at the end of the day, it's the South. I was born here. I was raised here. Um, I hate Texas up until I leave Texas, and then I'm repping Texas. Me and Alex have pictures of us in cowboy hats in Spain. Like we were those people.
I say I'm a Texas hater, and yet I have a blue bonnet tattoo. I just want to point that out.
I think anyone listening to this that's from Texas can agree to that. Yeah, like literally, I'm trying to buy cowboy boots now and everything, but it's whatever. We'll talk about it in therapy. But so I want to do better. I want to do better for Texas. I want to do better for the South. I feel like I'm talking about a political campaign right now. So vote for me in a couple years. But no, it's something that I want to see. Houston specifically, our infrastructure sucks. We literally flood every time, and that's insane to me.
I'm sorry, but let's do something about those trains. They piss me the fuck off. Why aren't we building bridges over them? Thank you so much. Sorry.
No, continue. So yeah, it floods all the time. We're literally supposed to have like a cold front coming next week, and everyone's like, "Oh, our grid's gonna die, and we're gonna like have no power." And it's not even us being dramatic. Like it literally happened 2 years ago. And we had to go to online classes. Also because COVID was going on at the time. It's just a lot. It's a lot. But like all those little like things could very easily be fixed in theory through policy. It's just like having to enact it. So that's stuff that I would want to work on to help my city, the city of Houston, the South as a whole.
Guys, she's gonna fix all of our problems. Watch her. Um. Okay, so now kind of backtracking and like getting a little bit more personal. Okay. Um. I wanted to ask you, what is the thing that has most surprised you about like your 20s? I know we're still like just starting them out. Like I guess it's been only 3 years, but like what is something that like you thought when you were younger and then you got to your 20s and you're like, "Wow, that's really not how it is."
I don't think there's anything that I thought was gonna be my 20s that actually is in my 20s. Um, I thought I was gonna be. Just high school. I was like High School Musical. Like I'm gonna be singing and dancing and falling in love with like, you know, lead basketball player. That didn't happen. College was like, oh yeah, party like Project X. Like no, it was COVID. And now I'm in grad school, 20 somethings. It's I don't know. Like I have my little my little apartment with my little roommate. But it's like a bachelor pad of sorts. I don't know what I still feel like I'm a teenager. I consider myself a 20-year-old teenager. I like don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like, yeah, I'm in school, but like then what? Yeah, it's I who knows what's going on? Like literally, I think the one thing that is consistent is that no one knows what's going on.
I definitely agree with that. Like when I was like, I thought so many things. I thought I was gonna be like the next, like Taylor Swift, Adele. When I was like 7, I was like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be in Hollywood by the time I'm like 20. Like I'm the next big thing, guys. Um, that didn't happen.
I would like to say Alex does have musical talent. However, I had the dream of being a pop star, but I have absolutely no musical talent to back that up. So my backfall plan was I set a goal of myself by the time I was 20 that I had to be either in the Olympics or the World Cup. Neither of those have yet to happen, nor do I think they will happen. But at least Alex had a little musical talent to back up her dreams.
I mean, guys, I keep telling myself 2024 is my year. Yeah. I do have some talent. I don't use it. Well, I can do an episode about that, but like we're not.
Just sing on an episode for us.
Yeah. I actually have. Okay, I told Jasmine. Did I?
Did you?
She doesn't even know what the fuck we're talking about. I had some kind of like not epiphany. I don't even know what you would call it, but like a surge of productivity like a couple days ago, and I have one finished song and then I have 3 others that are like almost fully fledged.
Girl, what? You did not. You told me you wrote you sent me like a picture of like a song that you wrote, but it was like you had like 4 sentences done. And then I never got a follow up that it was finished, and then you had 3 others.
Okay, well now you know. Okay, another question that I had for you in my like list that I wanted to talk about is more like what are you struggling with? I know that's like very broad, but what's like your what are you struggling with?
I feel like I'm gonna like trauma dump. It's like college essay application time where it's like just everything on. What am I struggling with? What am I struggling with? What am I not struggling with? Definitely struggling with like the weird age that I'm in because like I'm an adult, right? Right. But like I'm not an adult. Like I don't feel like I like the idea right now of like having a kid or like buying a house or like doing all these things that like adults do is not like not something I could ever do. Like I could barely take care of myself.
I would just like to point out that I just thought about this because um I went to a wedding. I'm so happy for her. Love her. Shout out to Maggie.
Maggie.
Couldn't what? Like that's why I'm making this podcast, guys, because what do you mean we're both 22, 23, she got married and I'm over here still living in my parents' house, don't have a job. Looking for one, guys. Self promo. I am a digital marketing intern looking to work in the entertainment industry. Thank you and goodbye. But it's like that's just like so wild. Anyways, continue.
No, literally. Every time I see like people on Instagram that I know from high school post that they got married or when they got married, I'm like, they must be pregnant. And then I see that they got pregnant, and I'm like, oh my gosh, teenage pregnancy. No, bitch. They're 20 something. I screenshot and I sent it in the group chat with my high school friends, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like no, this is like the age where people do that shit, and it's like on purpose. So yeah, no, I don't even remember what the question was. I went on a rant.
What are you struggling with? But
Oh yeah, I'm struggling with being a 22-year-old. Just a girl.
that's a very valid struggle. Um, guys, it's the trenches. I saw this quote on TikTok that was like, um, that was literally like that. The quote was, it was a woman. I don't remember who said it. I think it was Dua Lipa. Was it Dua Lipa?
Had an accent. I did not know Dua Lipa was foreign. I thought she was American, and Alex sent me a TikTok of her speaking, and I was like, "This girl has an accent."
Dua Lipa is originally from. Okay, I forgot where she was born, but she's British.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The more you know.
Anyways, speaking of Dua Lipa and like pop culture, okay. What is a piece of media or pop culture that has made you feel seen or that like you've identified with? Because one of my passions, in case y'all haven't noticed, is like pop culture and like music and entertainment. So like I think it's a really important part of our lives, and so I just want to ask you, like, is there something that like has stood out in your life where you were like, holy shit, that's me, or like just something that like you think about a lot?
That was a beautiful transition. I love it. Okay, yeah, I can give you two answers. So like pop culture wise, definitely this is kind of silly, but like in movies, like anytime I see like an act like literally like Pixar, like Moana, I'm not even like I am not the same ethnicity as Moana by any means. Okay, I am Mexican and Iranian, but like seeing literally a cartoon character who like had darker skin complexion and like big brown poofy hair, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like that that's more like me than like any of the princesses prior to that." And so and I was grown when that movie, I was like in high school, but I literally have a video of me dancing. Like I memorized the entire Moana soundtrack because I would dance to it because I was like, bitch, I am Moana. So stuff like that is like that representation, and I know like it's if it impacted me that much when I was in high school, I can't imagine like the effect it had on like little girls, and for them to see that growing up, like now with the new Ariel, like all that stuff. I know is impactful for me, and even more so when you're a kid. And then I can give you also like the in the political world, seeing women, Latina women, Middle Eastern women, um, going into like these big positions and filling in these shoes of in places where usually it's just been like straight white men is really empowering to see like, oh, like she's doing this, like why can't I do that? So it's kind of like the whole glass ceiling thing, but it's really cool to see.
I was just gonna ask. I don't know. I don't remember which city it is, but did you see that? Was it their city council or something? Is only women, or something like that? Is it Saint? I don't think it's St. Louis. Um, we should look it up. I'll look it up and then we can circle back to that. But yeah, I think have you ever seen One Day at a Time? I think that was the first time I had ever felt very represented because it's like about this family. She's a single mom, and my mom is not a single mom, but they the mom is from Venezuela, or her mom is. So the grandma was born in Venezuela, and then I'm not sure if the mother was born here or she moved here. Um, but it was like about these like Venezuelans in the U.S., and it was like a lot of not only like just like growing up stuff from both kids, but then like also like navigating. Okay, like I've got this one foot in this culture and then another foot in this culture. It's like, I mean, me and Jasmine have like an arm in one and then a foot in another and then the other foot in the other, but it's like I don't know. I thought it was like I felt really identified with, and I just love that cuz it like really shows the power of like, it's corny, but the power of like entertainment and why there's such a push for diversity. Um okay. So, what are you like okay, what are you looking forward to in your 20s? Would be my next question. Like, what's something that like we talked about what we thought they would be, but I want to know what you like now being in them or like hearing stories from other people, like what are you looking forward to? Um yeah.
I think being able to like learn more about myself, like discover myself more, definitely like living on my own and like doing certain experiences that I've had in my 20s have like led me to realize like, oh, like I'm actually more like this, or oh, I actually don't like that. But it's like when you grow up, um especially like in an immigrant household, sometimes like you like have this routine and you do these things, you're not really sure why you're doing it, but like that's just protocol. And so like now in my 20s I'm starting to realize like even down to like foods, like oh, I actually do really like this food, or oh, I
Guys, Jasmine recently stopped being a vegetarian and she eats chicken. My dad clapped when he found out. That's how big of a deal this was.
yeah, I was straight up vegetarian for 6 years, and I eat chicken now. I'm a chicketarian. Is that a real thing? I don't know, but I am calling myself a chicketarian. And literally, I have learned that I love Canes. Canes is so good.
We gotta go. We gotta go. Anybody that hasn't been to Canes, oh my god, wait, speaking of Canes, there was like an outrage in New York because they put up Canes and they were like, we don't want your southern shit or whatever. And I was like,
Is Canes a Southern thing?
well, it was according to that New York video.
Oh, I'm learning so much today. No, I literally got a Canes gift card for Christmas. I shit you not, $25. Here I come. Yeah. So just
You know who else loves Canes? Matilda. All three of us need to go.
okay, Matilda will for sure be a guest on this podcast at one point or another, my curly head friend. But no, yeah, so just learning more about myself I think is what I'm most interested. I will I get married, have kids, buy a house? Who freaking knows? The world might end in like 5 years for all we know. But I just want to learn more about myself and figure out like who I really am. So maybe that will happen in my 20s.
That's a big question to tackle. Um, but yeah, can I make a little parentheses because I did research? Canes is from Louisiana, so it is southern. Um, and y'all New York folk can. Whoa,
English is hard.
guys, English is not my first language.
We're just ESL girls.
We're just ESL girls. Oh my god, my friend Emily hates it when I say that. My friend Emily's my friend that I met in study abroad, but she like every time I mess up something in English, I'm like, guys, English is not my first language. And one time she was like, Alex, shut up. You cannot use that like excuse anymore. You've been here for like 13 years. Shut up. I was like, oh, okay. I guess I just can't talk.
Because I'm an immigrant.
Exactly. I think that's xenophobic, actually.
I love doing that shit. I love it.
They just don't get it. But why were we even talking about this? Oh, I said that people from New York should be grateful that they have a Canes.
Fucking love Canes.
Love Canes. All right. Well, Jasmine, is there anything else that you want to say? Is there anything like okay? Is there any topic that's been on your mind recently that you want to talk about? Like literally anything, like anything that you've been like, what the fuck is that? Or like anything that you've seen on TikTok, like literally anything that you want to rant about.
Okay. I was not prepared for this. I'm trying to think. Um, mm. Okay, I have this. This is like a Roman Empire of mine, which is what like this is so morbid, but like what death is gonna be the death like of our generation that like people will talk about for years. You know how like for like our moms it was like Princess Diana, like 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 I feel like I mourned the death of Princess Diana and I wasn't even born when she died. And then Selena like in the South like oh like I wasn't born when she died, but I feel the pain of that death. So like what death do you think is gonna be like the death of our generation?
That's such a big question. I will say personally, Jasmine's gonna roll her eyes at this one.
I already know what you're gonna say. I already fucking
For me, it's gonna be Taylor Swift. No, but okay, I think as like a generation, I feel like it's gonna be an actor or actress of like Who's something that we like? Who is somebody that like as a generation we're all like, oh my god, we all love them. The silence is deafening.
I don't think we love anybody. I think our entire generation is like hater first, person second. um, People fuck with Morgan Freeman, but like he's not of our generation. Okay, Alex gave me a look.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like Morgan Freeman. Not that I don't like him. I just feel like he's too old to be like that guy.
And who is that person? We're trying to be gender inclusive here.
Who is that person for you? Let's start there.
For me, I don't know because okay, Alex is gonna roll her eyes when I say this, but I used to be a big Bad Bunny fan, and now I literally hate him, and he broke my heart into a million pieces. Don't ever trust a Pisces man.
Hot take: his latest album was kind of a flop.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's a take. I think everyone kind of agrees with you on that one. But anyway, so I would say him, but not anymore. So I don't know. I know Alex would say Taylor Swift. Funny thing is that
What if it's Paris Hilton? No, I feel like that's more millennials.
yeah, I don't know anything about Paris Hilton except that she's rich.
Yeah.
Trish Paytas.
Trisha Paytas. I feel like people would just be. I feel like she's gonna. I don't know how Trisha Paytas is gonna go. It's probably gonna be her funeral though. Is gonna be insane.
Oh, it's gonna be. I expect her to be in a full out pink casket, glitter everywhere type beat. You know, she has another child. Like she's having another boy.
She's calling him Elvis. What do we think? It's a choice.
Choice indeed. Beyonce.
As Houstonians, yes. I feel like Beyonce's like up there.
Oh, for sure. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I feel like everyone's gotten canceled. I don't know who hasn't that like would.
What about Miley Cyrus?
Okay, I did grow up with like Hannah Montana.
I feel like it's not going to be that much of a. I think the thing with Princess Diana was, if we're going back to that, I think the thing with Princess Diana is the fact that like everybody hates the royal family. Everybody was like, this was a conspiracy to kill her and like a witch hunt. I think that like that was part of it. So I'm thinking like, who's gonna die in like a weird way? That's like the thing I think. Because if she had just died, I feel like it wouldn't have been as big. Like if she had died at an old age.
So you're saying you had to be like, it has to be like a tragic death
Yeah.
for it to be impactful. Okay. Well, I mean that Michael Jackson was like that.
I remember the day that I found out that Michael Jackson was dead because it's the day that I found out who Michael Jackson was.
Shut up. Are you so for real? You didn't know who Michael Jackson was?
I was 7 and like my parents just like didn't listen to a lot of Michael Jackson, like, to be honest. My dad used to be a really big fan growing up and then he wasn't.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he like listened too much Michael Jackson and got sick of him. I don't know. But yeah, everybody was like, "Oh my god, Michael Jackson died. Michael Jackson died." Oh my god, because it was this lady who used to drive me to school and her kids and her were like, Michael Jackson died, and I was like, who's Michael Jackson? And then I went through a Michael Jackson phase and listened to every single thing post death. I was very late to the game.
I don't think I ever had a Michael Jackson phase. I'm definitely one of those people that thinks like you know how like people get scared when they like see Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Like what's it like Michael Jackson phobia? I think I borderline have that.
Have you seen those videos of those people literally starting to cry because they see a Michael Jackson impersonator?
Yes. Have you seen videos of people? It's just becoming me and Alex asking each other, have you ever? People used to like pass out in his concerts when they would see him. Like, for real.
Yeah. The thing that I've seen is like people lost their minds the first time he did the moonwalk.
Oh.
And it was like a huge thing.
I feel like okay, they're just not. Who's that person of our generation? We don't have that. There's no Selena. There's no Michael Jackson.
I was just gonna say, I feel like celebrities with social media, they've become so attainable that like they don't have that type of like idolization that they used to have. So that's why I think like nobody's coming to mind. But I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out one day. But as of right now, I guess it's funny because me and Alex are so different, and the way like we lived such in such different worlds and when we were growing up, and the way,
But we lived like 30 minutes away from each other and didn't meet until college.
but like she was very like the things that we liked growing up were just very different. I think, and I think one of the ways that they like clash every now and then, like our worlds are coming together, is with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey because I knew Travis Kelsey and Alex loves Taylor Swift, and that's our worlds coming together right there.
Yeah, I feel like me and Jasmine just have like very different tastes, but like I feel like the reason why we get along is like we process things very similarly. I don't know if that makes sense, but like we have the same thought process. Me and Jasmine say that all the time. Um and then obviously we like came from similar-ish backgrounds in a way. But yeah. I okay, guys, maybe we're gonna start to wrap this up, but I want to hear who you think the big like death that's gonna impact us is. Um. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Jasmine, for coming on my first episode slash interview of this podcast. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll definitely bring some more guests. Y'all will probably meet Mathilde, who was mentioned. Um, I love how like, I'm like mentioning them like they're characters, and then like they're getting their spin-off series. Um, but yeah, any last words, Jasmine? Any last words?
I'm gonna be the famous death of our no. Yeah. Thank you, Alex, for inviting me on this podcast, and I'm honored to be the first guest on the show.
Thank you.